This is Michael of round number one. Today I'll discuss AEW and give my thoughts on a few other news reports. Speaking of AEW, I have to address the big boss at AEW, Mr. Tony Khan, and his recent discussion with CNBC Sport on radio now in New Orleans. There is video to accompany Tony Khan's discussion, and the article headline is this: AEW CEO Tony Khan says he wants to keep the company private to pass it down to his kids. And get this, CNBC even said in the article, Khan says he has no interest in going public because he wants to pass the lead down to his kids who haven't been born yet. I didn't even read a second further to realize that commenting like that on CNBC makes Tony Khan look foolish. You can't pass a company down to your children even if you take the company public. So I'll get into the CNBC discussion, but explaining even further is essential. When a company goes public, it sells shares through an initial public offering, also known as an IPO. This transition can give outside investors ownership stakes in the company, which may seem like it complicates passing the company down to your children. However, several ways exist to retain control and ensure your children remain involved in the company's future. Through some research on Google, I present just 5 ways. Number 1, retaining voting control. Some companies issue different classes of shares. For example, they might issue Class A shares that are common stock with voting rights and Class B shares with no voting rights. By retaining the Class A shares, you can maintain control over company decisions while allowing your children to hold shares. Number 2, estate planning. Effective estate planning can help pass your shares onto your children. By setting up trusts or other legal structures, you can transfer ownership while maintaining some control or providing guidance in how the company operates, ensuring a secure future for your business and your family. Number 3, management roles. Even after going public, you can create pathways for your children to take on company management or advisory positions. This involvement can help them understand the business and prepare for future leadership, instilling a sense of optimism about the company's future. Number 4, buy-sell agreements. You can arrange buy-sell agreements or options that allow your children preferred opportunities to buy shares if you decide to sell more of your stake in the company over time. Number 5, philanthropic contributions. Some families set up foundations that can hold shares in the company, allowing future generations to benefit from the business while contributing to charitable causes. While going public can change the dynamics of ownership and control, various strategies exist to ensure that your family can maintain a connection to the company and pass it down through generations. Tony Khan goes on to say the following, and I quote, "I want to build," said the 42-year-old Khan. "I'm still relatively young executive, and someday I like to have a family, and hopefully they can work in the business. It's a family business," end quote. As we've seen with Vince McMahon, a business owner could still lose control of his company even with various strategies enabled. Could a lawsuit cause an owner of either a public company or a private company to sell their Class A shares? The answer is yes. If a lawsuit poses a significant threat to the company's financial stability, reputation, or operations, the owner might sell their shares to negate losses or reduce risk exposure. Additionally, if the legal issues result in a decline in the stock price, the owner may decide to sell to avoid further losses. In some cases, legal advice might also influence their decision to divest shares, especially if they expect the lawsuit to result in substantial financial repercussions for the company. Now, let's explore why Tony Khan or another business owner might keep their business private. It's all about maintaining control and privacy. One of the primary reasons is the desire for control. Owning a private company allows them to make decisions without the influence or scrutiny of shareholders, enabling them to pursue their vision without external pressures. Keeping the business private allows owners to maintain confidentiality regarding their financials and strategic plans, which can be advantageous in competitive markets. Unlike other publicly traded wrestling companies that Tony Khan has criticized, he takes pride in how he treats his employees at AEW. He believes that AEW offers a better working environment for its staff than any publicly traded wrestling organization thanks to its family-run structure. Tony Khan made these comments during a media call ahead of the 2023 Wrestle Dream pay-per-view in response to a question from Brandon Thurston of WrestleNomics. Reflecting on the troubling incidents in AEW, it's clear that Khan did not intervene to support CM Punk against the executive vice presidents who reportedly ran to Dave Meltzer with unfounded rumors. This situation ultimately led to a backstage altercation between CM Punk, his entourage, and the EVPs. More individuals were involved, but Tony Khan ensured their silence through non-disclosure agreements, also known as NDAs. As I mentioned, the focus is more on control and privacy rather than avoiding the pressures of quarterly earnings reports and stock price fluctuations, which can influence strategic decisions and flexibility. Some business owners choose to keep their companies private for a reason. It's crucial to understand that AEW executives, including Tony Khan, could face serious consequences for addressing unethical practices if they were part of a public company. Many people, myself included, believe that these issues can lead to damaging publicity, a loss of credibility, and a potential financial repercussions for AEW. The elite continue to face criticism for their unethical practices, and Tony Khan's reputation as a leader and AEW's overall success is under significant scrutiny. In conclusion, Tony Khan's desire to keep AEW private while reflecting a trend amongst business owners who value control also raises potential risk. Staying private has benefits like shaping the company's future without outside pressure, but also complicates succession and could lead to unforeseen challenges. Khan's family-oriented vision raises questions about balancing personal hopes with the demands of running a competitive sports entertainment company. He faces challenges, especially with recent issues in AEW. The wrestling industry offers examples of companies moving from private to public, which can help Khan consider AEW's future. Will he build a successful legacy that matches his values, or will outside pressures be too intense? Only time will tell. I hope Khan can solve concerns and ensure AEW succeeds as a lasting family legacy. Staying with AEW, let's discuss the AEW Grand Slam in Australia. I've been open about not watching AEW for about a year now. Whenever I mention AEW here on round number 1, it's strictly based on news reports. Recently, I heard that people felt scammed by AEW Grand Slam Australia, so I researched wrestling forums to get the details, and here's what I found. The main issue that AEW wants to downplay is that Grand Slam Australia will be broadcast as a pay-per-view event on Saturday, February 15th, 2025. The problem is that AEW informed their television provider in Australia, ESPN, that Grand Slam Australia would not be a live television taping, but rather a pay-per-view event, even after the location was changed to the Brisbane Entertainment Centre due to low ticket sales. As of now, ESPN Australia still lists the event as a pay-per-view. It wasn't until February 15th, 2025 that it was confirmed that Grand Slam Australia would be a televised special simulcast on TNT and Max, airing on a tape delay that night instead of Collision. Further complicating matters is the downgrade from a 4-hour event to a 2-hour show. Many fans spent significant amounts on stadium price tickets, meet and greets, airfare, and hotel accommodations, making them feel scammed. Almost no ongoing storylines or feuds have led up to this event since the announcement. Initially, the event was set to take place at Brisbane's Suncorp Stadium, which has a capacity of over 50,000. Still, due to poor ticket sales, AEW moved it to the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, which holds 13,500 people. AEW should have clarified the situation initially, as fans believe they were purchasing tickets for a major pay-per-view event in a large stadium. It seems unreasonable for AEW to lease a stadium with over 50,000 seats for a television taping in 2025, especially considering their struggles to fill arenas for live events and declining ratings they have faced. Only time will tell whether AEW can establish a lasting legacy. The organization could have issued a clarifying statement months ago. Still, they let their fans spend money on tickets for what was marketed as a significant stadium show, only revealing the truth later. Fans understandably became upset because, after all, they are human. This sentiment amongst fans in Australia may turn hostile towards AEW, potentially leading to poor ticket sales for future events in the region. Several talent releases were announced yesterday in WWE news, including Sonya Deville, Blair Davenport, Isla Dawn, AOP, Paul Ellering, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and Giovanni Vinci. Cedric Alexander also confirmed his departure. It's uncertain where these talents will end up, whether in TNA or AEW, but we can expect to find out in 90 days. Sonya Deville's contract reportedly expired and was not renewed, allowing her to sign immediately with any other promotion of her choice. More releases are likely to be announced in the coming week, as this is not the end of this situation. And with that, this is your weekend edition of round number 1. I'll see you tomorrow if any other news breaks. If not, I'll see you in the week.